everyone, and welcome to the Summit Spotlight. I am your host, Andrea Ritter, and the Director of Communications for Summit School District. Today we have some very special guests who are going to dispel any issues that any of us have around what the District Accountability Committee is really about. Because we want folks to get involved, but to be honest with you, as a parent and a community member, I actually have no idea what DAC is all about. So we have Ross Morgan.
Hi.
And we have Noelle Wheeler.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's wonderful today. How are you?
I am great. Well, thanks you guys so much for coming. Ross, your smile is so good. It just gives me so much joy.
Thank you.
So can you share what DAC is really about? Because I have no idea, and I have a feeling a lot of people don't have any idea.
So DAC, or the District Accountability Committee, is this group that's designed to really provide kind of a parental lens into how our schools are going, what our students are experiencing, provide kind of that accountability piece that we use to see what's going on. When we talk about like tests and assessments and we talk about ways that we can improve our schools, this is a vehicle that our parents' voices get engaged with. And so it's a really powerful opportunity to make sure that as we move forward as a school district, we're also bringing in our parent voice into this process.
That is awesome. So, I think a lot of parents probably know about PTA or PTSO, those sorts of things, but this is at a different level. And Noelle, you are a parent and you are the co-chair of the committee. So how did you get involved with DAC? And I guess why did you get involved with DAC?
So I actually initially got involved with my school's SAC. So all of the schools within the district have a school accountability committee. And I initially engaged there when my child was in kindergarten to gain a different perspective around kind of the school and what are ways in which that we can help support the teachers and the staff at the school around things more intensive like curriculum, things like the budgeting process. And I had a really wonderful, unique opportunity as I was at Silverthorne Elementary School as it was transitioning into the dual language program. So one of the initial things of interest for me was understanding more about the program and what that was going to do then for the learning process for my child, as well as the support of the teachers within that program. So I joined SAC. I participated in that committee for several years, and then our school accountability committees appoint members to be part of the district accountability committee. I was appointed as a member and then had the good fortune at the end of last school year to be nominated and voted in as one of the co-chairs for now our district accountability committee, which we meet once a month and talk about similar topics that I mentioned at the SAC level, but more at the broader district level.
That is awesome. So you've taken it from school level to district level. You have this global perspective. What are some of the things that you do with DAC? And Ross, you manage all the assessment for the district. And then you work with Noelle and her counterpart, Milena, who we'll meet a little bit later. And really, how do you help them to help the district with all these bigger things?
So at the beginning of the year, we go through what's called the Unified Improvement Process. This is where the district and all of our schools lay out what our goals are for the year, what areas we want to improve upon. And the way this process kind of works in a big picture is our schools work with their school accountability committees to identify what their priorities are, some of the nuances that parents might bring into those conversations around how we can better support our students, and really draft those documents and setting kind of our vision for the year through those documents. Similarly, the same thing goes on at the district. We provide kind of the overarching view of what the different buckets are that we're going to focus on throughout the year, and try to use those as kind of our points of focus that we're going to say, this is what we're going to attack. We're always going to come back to these questions of how is what we're doing right now aligning to this particular goal. Our district accountability and our school accountabilities then throughout the year, we'll watch the progress that we're making. And when things are going well, we'll celebrate and say, yeah, we're making progress like we expect. And when things aren't, the questions become, okay, well, how can the school accountability committee or how can the DAC really support those initiatives to get us back onto track? And so they really provide that accountability lens. The other parts that we get involved with is working with looking at potential policies. And that's kind of a new thing we're bringing on this year is what are some of the policies that the Board of Education Education is looking at, that they're looking for some of that parent voice. And so at our next DAC meeting on the 2nd of December, we're going to start looking at some of what those policies might be, looking at where we can provide some more authentic voice. So the board has another perspective to hear before they make a decision towards the final policy later this spring.
So you're really able to make some great change in the district as a parent and now obviously as a co-chair. So what is some of the work that you as a group are taking on this school year?
So I think that it should be pointed out that both the school accountability and district accountability are chartered through the Colorado Department of Education. So these are things that the CDE requires because they so earnestly want a parent voice in a lot of this context and feedback. So as Ross mentioned, the accountability committees are heavily involved in the UIP plan at each of the schools. One of the things that we're really focusing on this year are those continual touch points throughout kind of the calendar school year, but really touching on, we've got these short-term goals that we're trying to meet to achieve the long-term goal for the school year and helping support the school in that. Another thing that I think is a really nice opportunity is aligning things within the district budget. So the district goes through a budget process annually, and it gives the school accountability committees and the district accountability the opportunity to kind of influence some of the things that we target and focus on in those budget efforts, which is really nice. And then as Ross mentioned, there is an opportunity for parent voice in district policy. So part of the Colorado Department of Education asks that your SAC and DACs focus on your attendance and truancy policies. But there are some other policies this year that we will be exploring in support of our Board of Education.
Awesome. So this might be a surprise question, but that's always fun, huh? So you talked about our district improvement plan, and that is aligned with our new strategic plan pillars and focus areas. So can you speak a little bit about how the DAC, and then even on the level of the SAC, how we then incorporate some of those voices with our new strategic planning process? Because we're really excited just to engage families and community members to really truly have that voice, students, and this all works together. So it's not like that the UIP is something different than this strategic plan for the district. And I think that the more we share this information, the more people can understand what it is, and then they can get involved, because we really want people to get involved, all people with all voices in this district, and a diverse voice, that brings this together in a unified way. So can you speak a little bit about that, either one of you?
Sure. So the second pillar of our strategic plan is around that equity piece. And one of the things that we've noticed that when we look within our school accountability committees, or our DAC, is that we have a very monolithic voice, I think is probably the best way to say it. We don't have a lot of diversity on either of these groups. And so one of our initiatives we've taken through the DAC is really looking at who is attending these meetings. What are some ways that we can provide some outreach to families who are not reaching currently? Because if we want to get families involved in these strategic plan conversations, policy conversations, they need to be at the table, and we need to make the table welcoming for them to be there. And so that's kind of our first piece. It's just annual or monthly tracking. Who's attending these meetings? What do we need to do to reach out? Who can we reach out to? And starting those conversations. So as part of all of our DAC meetings, that's one of the pieces that we cover, is who is here at our last few meetings through SACs or through DAC. That's kind of one of the ways that we're trying to address that strategic plan piece. But I think that's the critical piece, is that if we want families engaged in this, we have to be getting them involved in all these opportunities. DAC, SAC, for sure, is a great place to start.
I think another really nice point, Ross, is that part of our charter as a district is to not just have family members engaged, but we do also want community members engaged. So at the school accountability level, they work to have a community member engaged in those discussions, as well as at the district level, we work to have community members engaged that are not parents within the school district, because their perspective and the influence that all of the students within the district have on our community as a whole is really important as well.
This is so great. So thank you for sharing that. We do want more people involved. I know that, you just said, like, we want everyone at the table. The next DAC meeting is December the 2nd, and is that from 5:30 to 7:30?
5 to 7.
5 to 7, that is the time at the PD building. And then you can also Zoom in if you can't make it, correct?
Correct.
Awesome.
Yep, and if there's any other questions, people are free to contact me, and I will get them in touch with the right people based on what their questions are.
That is great. So you can get a hold of Ross Morgan, ross.morgan@summitk12.org. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here. We'll have you back again just to talk about the progress and what's happening. We want you involved, so get in touch with these two wonderful people, and we will see you at the next DAC meeting on December 2nd. Thanks.
Cool.